Hi, boys and girls. Loser by Jerry Spinelli. We are on chapter 7. Here is the surprise. Every day is like the first day to zinc off. Things keep happening that rekindle the excitement of the first day. What does rekindle mean? Restart, regenerate, rebirth. Things keep happening. Oh, sorry. Learning to read his first two-syllable word, making a shoebox scene about the pilgrims, counting to 5 in Spanish, learning about water and ants and tooth decay, his first fire drill, making new friends. At the dinner table, Zinkoff tells his parents about his days, but he always waits for his father's question. So what's new, Chickamoo? Or what's new, Boogaloo? Or Kinkachoo? Or Pookie Poo? Many things tickle Zinkoff, but nothing more than the sound of a funny word. Words tickle him like fingertips in the ribs. Every time his father comes up with a new one, Zinkoff has to put down his fork and laugh. Usually he leans to one side, as if the funny word has the force of a great wind. Sometimes he even falls off his chair. It's his teacher, Miss Meeks, who comes up with the best one. She stands at the green board one day, trying to explain what a billion basketballs would look like. If you put the first one here, she says, pointing to the floor, and line them up out the door and down the hallway and across the playground and down the street, why, they would stretch from here to Jap Pip. The classroom is a sea of boggling eyes. Wow. Someone calls out, Where's Jabip? Miss Meeks explains that there's no actual place called Jabip. It's just her way of saying some place really far away. At that point, Zinkoff, in the last seat in the last row, tilts alarmingly to the left and falls from his chair. The teacher rushes to him. His face is red. Tears stream down his cheeks. He's gasping for breath. Donald! Donald! She calls, though he is inches away. He looks up at her through his watery eyes. He gasps, Jabip! He pounds the floor. That's when Miss Meeks realizes her pupil isn't dying. He's merely laughing. It's a good 5 minutes before Zinkoff calms down enough for the class to continue. Miss Meeks forbids the class and herself to utter the word jabip for the rest of the day. Nevertheless, from time to time, there are sudden giggly eruptions from the back row as the word pops back into Zinkoff's head. When he hears Clunker 4 coming that day, he runs alongside the car as it coasts to the curb. Daddy, Daddy, did you ever hear of Jabip? Sure, says his father out the open window. I also heard of Jaboop. Zinkoff rolls on the sidewalk. Jabip, Jaboop. He keeps erupting through dinner. Eating becomes hazardous. His parents smile patiently for the first minute or so, then begin telling him enough is enough. But Zinkoff can't stop. When a bolt of mashed potatoes shoots from his nose, he is sent to his room. That night he giggles through his prayer and into sleep. In school for the rest of the week, Zinkoff continues to produce outbursts of laughter in the back row. Every outburst triggers laughter from the other pupils. Sometimes, to get him started, a pupil waits until the teacher's head is turned, then whispers the forbidden word. Sometimes Miss Meeks bites her tongue to keep from joining in. Sometimes she gets mad. It's during one of the mad times when she says, Donald, come up here, please. When he stands before her, she takes something from her desk drawer. It's a round yellow button. It's the largest button the students have ever seen, as large as a giant pinwheel taffy. It has black letters on it. Can you tell me what it says? Zinkoff studies the button. Finally, he shakes his head. It says, I know I can behave. She pins the button onto his shirt. And I know you can. Zinkoff has to wear the button for an hour. During that time, he does not laugh once. Miss Meeks judges her maneuver a success and returns the button to the drawer. Soon, Zinkoff is laughing again. He gets the button back. So it goes for several days. Second graders who wore the button the previous year and who have heard of Zinkoff's endless giggling ask him in the playground, Did you get the button today? One day, Miss Meeks has to leave the classroom for a while. When she returns, she finds Zinkoff's hand waving in the air. Yes, Donald? Miss Meeks, he says, I laughed when you were gone. As she realizes at last that for Zinkoff the button is not a punishment at all, but a badge of honor, from then on she punishes him by keeping the button in the drawer. Button or no button, Zinkoff loves school. One day he awakes before anyone else in the house. He gets himself dressed, he makes his own breakfast, he brushes his teeth and walks off to school. I must be early, he thinks, for he sees no crossing guards or other children along the way. He is sitting on the front step waiting for the door to open when he hears Clunker 4. It stops in the front of the school, and out pop both his mother and father. They both come running. Donald, we've been looking all over. You weren't in your bed. I came to school all by myself, he declares proudly. His parents look at each other. His mother bites her lip. His father picks him up and says, "You're very big to do that all by yourself. The only problem is there's no school today. It's Saturday." When Miss Meeks passes Zink off on to second grade, she writes on the back of his final report card, "Donald sometimes has a problem with self-control, and I wish he were neater, but he is so good-natured. That son of yours is one happy child, and he certainly does love school."